I had been suspicious of my wife for months, but nothing could have prepared me for the audacity of what came next. She had always justified her late nights, secret calls, and strange disappearances with flimsy excuses, and I had tried, against my better judgment, to trust her. But then came the trip. Our kids going on vacation with her, and supposedly, her friends. I thought it was harmless. I wanted them to have fun. I wanted to believe she was responsible. But the truth hit me like a thunderclap later that night. She had taken them on a trip with her lover. She had orchestrated the entire thing, presenting it as a family-friendly vacation, while she spent time with someone she had been hiding from me for months. I felt a mix of anger, disbelief, and dread. My kids were oblivious, laughing and playing, thinking it was just another trip with Mom. But I knew the truth, and it gnawed at me with a relentless intensity. I decided not to confront her immediately. I didn't want her to have the upper hand. I wanted to see how she would react when the situation unraveled naturally. And more importantly, I wanted to protect the kids from the chaos she had caused until the right moment. I spent the days leading up to their return preparing myself, documenting everything, and thinking through how I would reveal the truth to them without crushing them with panic or fear. The day they returned, I was waiting at the airport. My heart pounded, a mix of anticipation and nervous energy. They ran to me with excited chatter, recounting the trip, the beach, the amusement park, the hotel with the pool, all the fun they had experienced. Their laughter was infectious, but beneath it, I knew the storm that awaited them. The truth about who had orchestrated the trip and why. As we drove home, I kept my voice calm, casual, hiding the tension coiling in my chest. "So, did Mom take anyone else on the trip?" I asked lightly, as if it were a casual question. The kids looked puzzled, confused by the tone in my voice. Then came the realization in their eyes. They remembered moments, small oddities, strange interactions that hadn't made sense at the time. Their memories flickered back. Odd jokes, whispered conversations, mysterious hotel guests. The panic hit slowly at first, subtle at the edges of their consciousness, then building into full awareness. "Wait, you mean he wasn't just a friend?" One of them asked, voice trembling. Another asked, "But, Mom, is he—" Their questions tumbled out in a rush, a mix of fear, confusion, and hurt. I took a deep breath and kept my tone steady, not wanting to escalate their panic, but needing to give them the clarity they deserved. "Yes," I said quietly. "She brought someone on the trip who wasn't a friend, someone she shouldn't have involved you with." Their faces drained of color, the laughter and excitement of the vacation vanishing instantly. They were stunned, processing the betrayal in real time, struggling to reconcile the happy memories with the uncomfortable truths. I didn't sugarcoat it. I explained what had happened, carefully but firmly. I told them that sometimes adults make bad choices, that these choices can hurt others, and that while we can't change what she did, we could control how we respond. I assured them that they were safe, that they weren't responsible, and that we would navigate the aftermath together. The panic in their eyes slowly gave way to tears, questions, and an overwhelming need for comfort, and I gave it to them without judgment, without anger, just presence and support. Over the next days, I handled the logistics. I documented every detail, gathered proof of her betrayal, and began preparing to protect the kids from further exposure. Their emotional safety became my priority. I blocked her lover from any further contact, changed arrangements, and made sure the kids understood that they were loved, protected, and not at fault. Meanwhile, my wife tried to explain, to justify, to charm her way out of the consequences. She claimed it was innocent, that it was just a vacation, and that I was overreacting. But I didn't respond with anger. I responded with calm authority, documenting her attempts to manipulate and lying on record. She had underestimated me, assuming that her audacity and charm could cover the betrayal she had orchestrated. The real revenge wasn't confrontation or drama. It was letting the truth land naturally, letting her see the chaos and panic she had caused in her children's lives, and letting her realize that her recklessness had consequences she could not manipulate away. She had assumed that I would remain blind, forgiving, or easily swayed. Instead, she faced the reality of my preparedness and her own destructive choices. Weeks later, the kids began to settle, understanding the situation with my guidance. Their panic had faded, replaced by trust in me and clarity about boundaries and consequences. My wife, however, continued to grapple with the fallout. Her betrayal was now fully documented, her manipulations exposed, and her control over our family entirely gone. I had learned a lesson myself. Calm observation, preparation, and deliberate action are more powerful than rage. The panic in my children's eyes had been a painful but necessary mirror for the chaos she had brought into our lives. And in the quiet, methodical way I handled everything, I had reclaimed control, protecting those who mattered most while letting the consequences of her actions unfold naturally. In the end, she realized, too late, that bringing her lover into our children's lives, even indirectly, was a bridge she could not repair. I didn't need to yell. I didn't need to humiliate. I simply acted, quietly and deliberately, ensuring that her betrayal had tangible consequences, while I preserved the safety, trust, and love of my family. Her audacity, which had seemed so bold, had ultimately been her undoing. The panic in my kids' eyes reflected the chaos she had sown, and the calm in mine reflected the order I had restored. In the end, the truth was clear, and the lesson was unforgettable. Betrayal has consequences, and those who manipulate recklessly eventually face the weight of their actions alone.